the fact that there's this like plus, what's his second talent now? I'm Treant. So the Nature's Grasp quality, Living Armor Heal is an absolutely terrible talent for mine. Like it plus 36. So you're going from 180 to, oh my god, 216 uh total heal, right? This isn't per second. This is a total heal over that time. So you're essentially per second having an
Radiant
increase
team
of
pick.
like 3 healing for a talent. It is woeful as a talent in my eyes. And well, I'm glad that it's being taken away as an option for level 15 because I feel like Nature's Grasp cooldown is just a must pick, basically.
We haven't seen as many less tracks as well, which I was pretty surprised about considering how strong
Five
the
seconds remaining.
China region puts emphasis on this hero. So
You talk about the magic damage, though, they're just all inning into it.
gives them a way to be able to take objectives. These two supports don't enable a
Vici
less really though.
Gaming's
Like it's
turn
not
to
like
pick.
an Oracle or Wyvern or some built-in sustain that can really amplify the Lesh and how he wants to play these team fights.
Yeah, it feels a lot more pick-off oriented, right? You can't just run into a team fight. Well, maybe now you can with the Mars to be able to start things off, but
Radiant
previously it
team
would have been
ban.
quite difficult for them to just sit and take towers. But, well, that's a nice little response there. With the Spectre, of course,
It's a
being
good
able
pick.
to stay away from the rest of the team. And then if you are going for these pickoffs, unless it is on the Spectre, you're just going to be able to have a +1 at every single team fight that you can.
This is a really, really
10
good pick. I
seconds
mean,
remaining.
you max out Dispersion with Blade Mail means that Lesh can never really target
5
you down.
seconds remaining.
You've got two very squishy backline supports, which also Mars and Lion, now if you include, heavily rely on their Blink Daggers to find the initiation. So if you start the fight with the Haunt, you're more than likely going to be able to cancel their Blink and their follow-up afterwards. And not just that, but this is a pretty strong lane. Tree and
Vici
Protector and a
Gaming's
Spectre,
turn to ban.
two really beefy heroes and an immense amount of sustain too.
I'm gonna need to see some Silver Edge carriers banned out though by Vici Gaming. They that is the one area where they can potentially come out on top.
Radiant
Is that
team
if you
ban.
have this big team rotation onto the Spectre, are able to cancel out the dispersion. Sure, you might get off the blade mail, but if you can take him down in that time before, you might be getting some help from the living armor. But I think there's certainly some capabilities to be able to take her down. They're gone with the Spectre ban for
10
now.
seconds
I
remaining.
feel like you just got
Gaming's
to get
turn to
hyper
ban.
aggressive right now on Aster.Aries.
So could there potentially be like a Ursa to fit that role? Can go Silver's Edge, helps you take Roshan. Lesh can give you the objective taking, so you don't really need that in your position one.
I feel like you get
10
kited around a
seconds
little bit though
remaining.
by the Treant Protector. I wouldn't mind a Slark. I feel like Slark's
5
pretty good here
seconds
against
remaining.
a Spectre,
Yep.
constantly stealing away all of those stats, adding onto your own agility. The Dark Pact means that you can get out of the Treant ultimate. You can leash up a Storm Spirit so he can't get away. Skywrath very squishy, and again, Dark Pact very effective, and very few
Radiant
ways to deal
team pick.
AoE damage once you go underneath the Shadow Dance. So Slark is number one for mine.
I like what they do on Vici though, still just banning out heroes that survive in long drawn out fights, because that's really what Aster.Aries want. You know, the Lesh is someone who heavily relies on utilizing
10
all of your
seconds
mana.
remaining.
And well, for the side of Vici Storm, he wants to use his mana at quick
5
succession, find
seconds
that burst.
remaining.
Same with the Skyath Mage, and the Spectre with the Haunt wants to get these early pickoffs on the supports and then have the strength in numbers advantage to go from there. So just really minimizing overall how you can kind of counter that team fight aspect is with heroes that really survive for a long time.
So based on that, are you feeling anything else for how Esther's
Vici
going to round out the
Gaming's
draft?
turn to pick.
Bloodseeker.
Huh.
It's okay. Uh, I just really liked the Slark, man. Not just because I'm sitting in the Krusty Krab, but I don't know. I feel like it suited their draft really well. They are going to be able to deal a decent amount of AoE
10
damage, I
seconds
suppose,
remaining.
with the Leshrac and the Silencer, so that Thirst is going to stack up pretty damn
5
quickly. But
seconds remaining.
when I see Bloodseeker, I don't think Silver Edge, I think things like maybe an Echo Saber, maybe constantly casting things like the Gleipnir, because you are one of those heroes that's constantly using mana, even from that core role.
Now Vici looking for an off lane. I think they want a stun set up, and
Legion
there you go.
Commander.
So they get it in the Legion.
Pairs together with the Skyreth really nicely. You're able to, pop a BKB, get the press the attack onto someone, even if a global silence is used. So I'm sure we'll look to see perhaps a slightly more rushed BKB come out from Old 11, because you know that Aster.Aries are going to look to get aggressive. So I think you can maybe afford to get the Blink Dagger because you've got the ability to set up so nicely with the Spectre, the Storm Spirit, and the Skyreth Mage. But after that, BKB has to be at a priority.
How are we feeling here with the lineup with Aster.Aries and against Vici Gaming? Are you feeling like one team is a little bit more favored to take the series here in this game 3?
I'm going to go with Vici. I think anytime you have it's not a single core lineup, but someone as as much of a hyper carry as Spectre is, when you have an LC, especially now at level 15, that you've got that plus 40 to the press the attack healing per second, which means you're healing for 500 damage on top of a Treant Protector, on top of all of the extra sustain that you're just giving yourself from being a Spectre in general. And this is a Blade Mail game. Let's not, kid ourselves. So even a Bloodseeker, if he uses the Rupture on you, can end up killing yourself.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can take their first series victory here for the boys on Aster.Aries.
So important.
Yeah,
They've only got 2 series left after this one, and they've already played Magma, who they lost 1-2 against. So they're really the team that they're fighting to avoid that last spot overall in the group stage, because, like I said before, 7 teams in the I-League Season 2, 6 of them moving forward, 2 into the upper bracket and 4 into the lower bracket, and the last one being eliminated. And I did see a fair few fans of Aster.Aries in the chat as well, so I'm sure they're hoping that they can put in a performance similar to what we saw in game number 1.
Again, we've got another big smoke up here, but
just
unfortunate there with the timing. Does feel like Aster.Aries, though, with how they can play this game, they have to, again, I feel like snowball. Like, it's the Bloodseeker's not going to scale as heavily as what the Spectre will. I mean, you do have the percent damage coming through when you go for that Aghanim Shard, is kind of just brute force up this high ground. Is Ulu in?
Careful here. Nice Arcane Curse, though, hitting it onto 4. Actually, only 2, my bad. It's going to force them not to use abilities at least, but it feels like it's just delaying things as opposed to getting any kind of aggressive stuff done.
So the one thing I do like with Aster.Aries lineup is that they have an immense amount of control for Ori Storm Spirit. Like, this does not look like the easiest game at all. So if they can get a couple of kills on the board early, then you're pretty reliant on the Legion having a good blink timing then to make plays with the Skyreth Mage. Otherwise, if Ori has a good early game, then he can start to play this duo with the Sky, and they can get pick off after pick off.
I want to see this Bloodseeker work. That's the thing, though, right? Like, when he gets the Aghanim Shard, I feel like that could be a really cool way to deal with these tankier heroes, right? It's based off of max health as opposed to current health, which is always really nice to have. So something like a Spectre that just wants to build a lot of the time into pure stats, it's going to be really effective against, considering it's healing you up as well, and you're going to have that full 150 attack speed coming from the Blood Rage. Maybe even more if he talents into it.
Do you feel like, is the Bloodseeker going to be able to play this lane effectively? Like, should he be worried about the Legion Sky matchup?
A little bit. I mean, super early on, not so much. PYW is just going to get the maximum usage. Like, you don't have the mana pool super early on to just be spamming out those arcane bolts, so may as well just use the concussive shot wherever you can. Old 11, who's still going to get clipped by the Blood Right, despite having a very fast movement speed, but there's nothing that you're too concerned about on this bottom side, I don't think, at least super early on.
And why do you feel like though Aster.Aries, they've swapped up their support's positioning? Like Siamese Cat, their position 5 is currently playing in the offlane with the Mars right now.
Good question. Just trying to think. Like, you've got a dual stun that you've potentially given up on the top side. Siamese Cat, he gets an Arcane Curse off, but I'm pretty sure you would want that against a Skywrath Mage. If you're constantly trying to, once of course the levels build up on PYW, harass out, much more effective to have a silencer with Arcane Curse against something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe just the Earth Spike can set up for the Blood Riot, because I believe they just did it then to bring PYW down really, really low. So maybe they're thinking this can give them some kill threat in the safe lane, as we see. I mean, Legion, yeah, look how low he's falling right now. Odd 11's just relying on the moment of courage procs and the Fairy Fire, and that's enough to at least allow PYW to get first blood before he dies.
And turned around, maybe thinking that he could continue juking, but my man, you're against the Thirst. He can see you in the trees when you're that low, so Ulu at least able to get the return kill.
Not for you.
And meanwhile, this mid matchup looking pretty even at the moment here between Ori and Phoenix, 12-4 apiece. So how do we feel like these heroes are going to be able to kind of set their own impact into this game 3?
The mid heroes, are we talking?
Yes, yeah.
Like you mentioned before, the Storm Spirit's going to have a much harder time, right? So many ways to quickly lock him down. Are we even going to see maybe like a... Do we need more damage through from the Mars as opposed to going
Sky
for like
again is going to fall.
Scepter?
Okay, another kill down bot here for the side of Aster.Aries, so safe lanes.
Going for Baku. He'll get away though.
They are...
I feel like Phoenix is at least able to get some tower damage done, whereas you're relying on... Well, what's the Treant Protector skilling up as well? I feel like you need to try and get aggressive as early as possible, right? Before you're able to just sit DY in the dead lane, have him spamming out those Nature's Grasps, getting the Living Armor up onto the towers. If you're able to group up and get some key team fight victories and take out high priority towers like that mid and top lane, bully the Spectre out as quickly as possible, then you're closing the avenues for Poyoyo to farm. You're making it a lot easier for you to find where he's going to be. And for me, it feels like he's the one that you need to be finding with a lot of these early gank attempts. You can't go onto someone else because they're just going to turn around and haunt in onto you.
Baku, my god, that was close.
Positioning.
With this bottom lane going as well as what it is for Radiant, it's kind of forcing Sky to play a little bit more with the Legion instead of maybe making some ancient stacks for the Spectre, who is, feels like guaranteed going to be going into the Blade Mail this game.
Yeah, I mean, that is a nice little bonus, and well, he's already built up into the infused raindrops on Poyoyo, realizing the strength of being able to come up against the eventual last word, but just opting to go away from it. The Glaives of Wisdom, again, being built into by Siamese Cat. They're just trying to pump out a lot of harass with two melee heroes, of course, against a ranged. You always want to get it off as much harass as possible.
Which it could be another game where we see the Silencer dish out an immense amount of damage with that Arcane Curse. I've kind of come to love this ability now as we've been casting.
We'll see, dropping a little low again. Not going to be enough. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really strong ability. You just got to make sure that you're not going to get run over, but I feel like their second phase bans were perfect to be able to counter out the effectiveness of it.
They drop... Oh, actually, Sky? Is able to... Oh no, they got the Blood Right connection. Press the attack is not enough, and Ulu up to a killing spree. Is he mad enough to go underneath the T1 tower? Looks like he is, and now he forces the TP from DY out, so now Spectre solo.
Will that result in an instant movement up here? I mean, you can see the Marzi's looking to get a little bit more aggressive, denying out some range creeps, which probably wouldn't happen if you had the Treant Protector up there to save. So, the farm's going to slow down a little bit more for Poyoyo.
Level 6 picked up from Ori. Long zip in, but the instant hex from Baku before they kill off the Lesh. Just that extra +1 before DY was able to get in range. There is enough to at least secure the position to kill before their own falls.
I was just checking like how much damage the Silencer did. That was all on Phoenix's Leshrac there. I thought maybe, one of the things is against a Storm Spirit, the Silencer is so effective, right? Of course, not just the global silence, but the amount of silence, the extra penalty duration that you're getting onto it from constantly casting spells in team fights really hinders your effectiveness.
Mid lane, we're seeing some Extra players coming through here from Radiant. They're behind the Lesh at the moment, but that Ancient Seal has just heavily amplified the Storm's damage, but he's still got to be careful. The Silence tick into the Earthspike control. Phoenix again trading his life for the position to it. Looks like this time, though, DY is a little bit faster, so they do win out on the trade on getting an extra bounty in the Lion kill.
That time, though, Siamese Cat dealt a lot more damage. 450 over the course, and it would have been more if they didn't full-on commit to killing him with the Leshrac there. Of course, you had to worry about the living armor potentially healing him up, but honestly, I thought he could have dropped down there. You know, you had the silence duration coming through from the last word, which would have amplified the damage up even further, and I think it was up to about a 12-second penalty time.
Still any stacks been made for Poyo? No, they're chilling at the moment. None, Ori at least has some of the hard, yeah.
Might be able to stack up the Ancients while he's in the area as well. Let's see how much of a core player he is. Alright, it's all about me, just as expected.
Well, even the carriers aren't exempt from making some stacks from the other cores here, unfortunately for Ori.
This one is.
This one might be. Siamese Cat. Again, he's in trouble though. Level 5 on the Silencer, so they've got to be careful if they stick around for a little bit too long with that Arcane Curse. There has been so much emphasis put around this mid lane, and that's often what we see with the Leshrac. If you can get the kills into then the numbers advantage, you can take the towers pretty much with ease, but maybe they've had enough of trying to take mid. It looks like they're just going to go for the easiest tower and top.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job of bullying out the Spectre sitting towards the bottom of the net worth there for all of the cores. And yeah, may as well just continue to secure it. Puyoyo, he's going to be forced to run away. Phoenix just bullying him out one more time. DY, I think this is definitely worth a dive. I mean, you know he's sitting inside the trees. You've got the Arena of Blood, which is going to be able to destroy all of that little hidey hole. But you might not even need to do it. They're committing quite heavily to try and save this, though. Ancient Seal could come out.
PYW's already level 6 as well. That burst is not enough thanks to the hood from the Mars, and they instantly answer with a turnaround arena. Phoenix still is completely out of mana though, so the Leshrac damage is minimal at best, and even Old 11 wants to get involved in this laning stage defense here as he's able to find his first dual victory of the game, and they cut down the life of the Mars too. But Storm? That's a heavy zip in. They've got the control to lock in for the silence. Ruptures out as well. Ori, a little bit of survivability thanks to the pressed attack. Now he can get some distance away from the cores, and Siamese Cat, I mean, he himself is also just going to give away another freebie.
I feel like they were just a little bit too delayed there. You know, you don't want the surprise engagement to come in onto your Mars so that he dies. You know, he soaked up a lot of damage, of course. He's got the Hood of Defiance, he's got a high HP pool, but I felt like you needed to get proactive there. That Arena of Blood for mine should have come out immediately after you see the Nature's Grass come out from the trees, pick off the Tree Protector, and then suddenly your effectiveness in the team fight and the element of surprise is just removed entirely.
And just from the start, though, it never looked the greatest when they, like you said, didn't dive that tree. Because then Lesh was wasting a lot of mana. Pretty much, he didn't have anything once all of Vici Gaming series started to show up. And this is big props to Die, because how much experience they just got from that team fight, I mean, you can't really keep that into consideration now with Aster.Aries. I mean, DY's level 7, so he's got maxed out living armor, and already was difficult enough to take your towers, and now it feels like you're getting to the stage where you have to commit probably 5 heroes or 4 at least.
Have they got a... No, the Siege Creep's already... No, it's still alive, just behind them. So that's the main priority. Make sure that that can survive, take out this creep wave really quickly, not using too much mana on Phoenix, and then just get that Diabolic Edict pumping into the tower. I think when they previously went onto it, he was only 3 points into the Edict, I believe, so not able to quickly take it down as much as he'd like. But they also do have the Finger of Death now available on Baku, so if they're able to go in super deep here onto Old 11, get the stun off into the Hex, into the Spear, Finger combination, that'd be a nice little kill. But have to be concerned. The Haunt is available. TP also available on the Storm Spirit, so might be a case of just being happy with taking the tower on its own.
Yeah, the instant +1 effect that Vici have is potential a big advantage here once they get in a position to keep this tower alive and offer a defense. Because even, I mean, they're a little bit shy on overgrowth now, but that's such a great ability to punish any team that heavily commits into these rainbow TPs, for example. So, I mean, Sky's got Mystic Flare, Storm's got a respectable amount of mana to be able to join the fight top if need be. Spec fortunately doesn't have Blade Mail, which would have been a beautiful item for him to get involved. He is lowest net worth out of all the cores, so he can still get active with the Horn. We'll see how Aster.Aries want to try and find the angle in as...
That might be a blessing in disguise, honestly. I feel like Vici Gaming was certainly in a position to be able to turn that one around, and that's much better.
Now they'll be able to catch out the tree and protect it. This is always one of the beautiful things about the Mars. You're no messing around like a lot of heroes do against a tree. It's so difficult to get on top of him through, you know, the behind the tier 1 towers with how much protection he has and how slippery he is. But when you just drop a big AoE arena, kill off all the trees and then get off the hero as well, it's super important there. But they might still give up one of their own as Phoenix. He's gotten a fair bit of distance away from the high ground. Great timing of the global silence. Unfortunately, they missed the spear, but at least Phoenix is able to offer up the stun lock, and there's no duel as well out of the Mystic Flare range, but it doesn't matter. Still, they're able to bring him down with the Arcane Bolt. Another target prioritization. They're very split on Aster.Aries. The spear this time will connect, and they can close the distance. A dominating killing streak now for your Bloodseeker.
And speaking of the Bloodseeker, you're going to like it. Have a quick look at his quick buy. He's got that Maelstrom to be able to accelerate his farm into the BKB, straight into the Aghanim Shard after that, realizing how important it's going to be to take out these more tankier heroes.
Tis mine.
Yeah,
nice turnaround there, particularly Baku. He was very quick on all of his stuns in that team fight.
For the twins.
Yeah, that he was, and he's a little bit further away from the blinkers, probably what they're hoping here for the Lion, but yeah, they have been grouping up a lot more though for Aster.Aries, so he hasn't kind of gotten his own me time to be able to farm that first item.
Yeah, PYW has been parked for a fair amount of time on the bottom side of the map, just taking lanes a little bit for himself. Phoenix has to be worried about his positioning
Blink
here.
reveal as well, and there's another dual victory. They can even drag back Baku as Vici Gaming, a beautiful movement from them. They get those 2 kills, then able to transition it into their first tier 1 tower of the game.
And that becomes 3 dual victories as well over for Old 11, already with a plus 30 damage coming through. So you're not even having to worry about only the Spectre in terms of his scaling potential. And this is only going to improve further and further. He's picked up that first item, Blink Dagger, like we were expecting. Going into the Blade Mail next, which, again, it's not horrible. But I feel like the BKB is going to be so important considering how aggressive Aster.Aries are going to be looking to go in the near future.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still, do we feel like Radiant are happy with how this game is looking? Because I'm worried that Vici Gaming will execute late game at another level where the side of Radiant might not be able to contest.
Plays like that certainly do help. Good positioning though by Old 11, getting off the press the attack. Will it be enough to make him survive? I do not think so.
That's a big kill to pick up now for Aster.Aries. I mean, Arena does have a much longer cooldown now. I was going to say it's not too heavy a commitment, but 90 seconds is a lot different than what it was previously, the maxed out 60. But looks like it's mainly just a farming pick-off. You are really slowing down their position 1 still, though. Bottom of the net worth out of all the cores, unfortunately, is Poyoyo.
And all that time, that Maelstrom's starting to put in some work for Ulu. Sitting in the mid lane, he's got his TP available, but bot tower's obviously already removed. Baku with a Finger of Death available. They've got the Blink Dagger as well on Mars. If he can get the spear into the trees, that's a pretty easy
close to the tier 1 tower though, and already the reinforcements have come through. They've cut down the Skyth Mage, but Looks like it's going to cost Baku his life. A beautiful overgrowth. DY stops the retreat and even sets up for the dual damage as well. As they can zip on for more. Siamese Cat's going to be the target.
Ulu's
They
here,
just
though.
need the detection hours. Ulu, can he do it all by himself? I mean, Siamese Cat still is a decent amount of damage with the Arcane Curse. At least that's enough to kill off the Storm Spirit, and the Silencer can get his TP out successfully.
That was another really good team fight for Baku. Just the quick reaction times to get the mana drain in onto the Leshrac, which meant that the Haunt wasn't quite as effective, forced the heavier commitment through from the Storm Spirits, so that even though that they were the ones that got counter-initiated onto, they still got an even trade coming through. And more importantly, getting the Bloodseeker closer and closer to that BKB and that Ag Shard that's going to come soon after.
And how do we feel like Legion is going to be able to enable Vici Gaming's lineup to take this game? Because he does have 40 damage at the moment, and it feels like with all the early damage they've been able to give him, he should be able to scale a decent mark, especially if they continue at the rate he has.
Yeah, I think they've got multiple ways now to scale, which is always effective to have. They're giving Baku a little bit more farm, so I wonder how much of his priority is going to be, you know, you might get the initial stun in onto the main target that you're going for, whether it be the Storm Spirit or the Spectre, but the secondary stun, I'm sure he's going to be looking out for this Legion Commander. So LC having that extra little bit of farm, having that few more items, such as the BKB, to prevent yourself from getting hexed and allowing that save to continue through onto the main
Dire's
priority
middle
target
tower is
is
under
going to be
attack.
pretty damn significant.
Yeah, and he is also going for his own blade mail as well. So there is a lot of recognition at that. There's pretty high amounts of uncontrollable damage from Aster.Aries. So, you know, this could bite them in the back. It really feels like BKBs are going to be a huge climbing for the side of Radiant.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, so how close
Ulu.
are we to those timings? I mean, Mars has only got one component. The Bloodseeker as well. Ulu. Oh,
He's
very
close.
close.
Are scanning.
Should synergize pretty well with being able to pick up the Ag Shard right at the 20-minute mark as well. Obviously not going to be as effective early on when compared to late, just for his survivability. Like, if that previous team fight at the bottom side was like 4 minutes later and he'd picked it up, I honestly
Dire's
think
top
that he
tower is
can
under
1v4 that. He was in a good position. There were multiple heroes low. The movement speed was already coming through from the Thirst, and yeah, you could very easily turn things around.
I was just going to ask you, do you feel like maybe it is a bit too early? Because late game, of course, the percent damage will have a lot more impact
Much more of an
once,
impact.
once Dai gets their health picked up.
Dire's middle tower
So,
is under
and I
attack.
feel like I'm a bit worried that he gets bursted down like pre-BKB. Is DY? Oh, nice spear. This Mars has been having an incredible game. Unfortunately, he doesn't block off old 11. Now with the backline, they've already killed off the Lion. A little bit too late with the Global Sunset. Now they want to try and prioritize the Legion, which they're able to do so successful. And the first use of the BKB from Ulu will net himself a second kill as well. Or will it?
Nice kiting.
The Overgrowth's able to kite Aster.Aries inside the river. Now with the Leshrac oversteps the mark, but the race car is back in, looking for the cleanup. He'll find the first, he'll find the second. A triple kill overall. You can't stop this man with how speedy he runs in.
He's looking pretty deadly to start with, although that was a very nice team fight engagement coming through from Vici Gaming to begin with. You know, making sure that there was that that Ancient Steel being used onto the Lion before the Spectre used the Haunt. So many times now, Baku's been able to get a fantastic mana drain off to disrupt the way that
Dire's
Spectre
middle
wants to
tower
engage
is
on
under
certain
attack.
targets. This time around, though, Haunt coming immediately after that silence is in on the Lion, which means that a lot more vulnerable. Haunt's in, instantly takes him out. But the power of Ulu, he's sitting pretty damn strong. 2k net worth ahead now with that triple kill being picked up. I haven't been able to test, since it's so new, how the heal from the Bloodseeker Shard works with something like an S and Y that amps up the healing and the regen components.
Yep.
Keen to see if they would opt to go into it. Looks like he's looking to skill more into the Manta style, which makes total
like
sense.
that, yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Against the Ancient Seal, against the Overgrowth. Exactly what you want.
You could definitely argue that Sunjin, bot lane. Mars again, this time unfortunately misses the spear. But there's, yeah, he's too far away from any answers from the rest of Vici Gaming, so DY will fall. There's definitely a question to be asked if Sunjin Yashu is the way to go just for the status resistance and the little bit of extra tank ability, but what the Manta can bring you with that active against mid lane again, another jump in. They'll have the Mystic Flare at the last second. Lesh is a little bit hesitant if he wants to tank up the Skyath ulti, but they've heavily committed in, and it might be the price to pay here, as they'll kill off the Spectre. Old 11 doesn't get clipped on the tower, but still Ulu again just running down hero after hero.
Dire's middle tower
That's
is
with
under
the Ag Shard, by the way. It's 20 minutes, picked it up right on time, and he's still got a ton of net worth to play with after this point.
Wow.
Deepest thanks.
Really does feel like this hero kind of revolves around snowballing, right? Like we see a Bloodseeker. When you're at this stage where you're a ridiculous amount of net worth, you can go in with no care in the world. But when you're a little bit more goal behind than the opposition carry, it feels like you're not at your power spike of what the hero tends to be.
Surely it doesn't work on Roche, right?
I do not believe so. I'm pretty sure it's just heroes.
Yeah. Kind of similar to, like, Underlord.
But I have not played with it. I'm just...
Yeah.
Lion.
Not again.
Storm is able to sidestep. They get the global, but again, I mean, this ultimate's getting paired together. Means that Radiant were controlled through the full duration thanks to the overgrowth, but still Storm, he zipped him aggressively. It's able to set up for the Spear. Now Phoenix Blue Earth is going to come back up in the nick of time. It's not. Or he just gets the zip away. He's going to try and attempt the TPR. Can he make it before the Arcane Curse? He can. So he's back to safety of the well. And now Radiant, they don't have the Bloodseeker until now with the TPN, but maybe the cleanup crew is enough. He'll get the first, but it's still falling pretty low here. Trying to man-foot Puyoyo now with the BKB. Going through the Blade Mail, it's not enough. As Puyoyo finally the first real hero to send the Bloodseeker packing.
Silence.
Do you get that graphic bug where you can't see the Mystic Flare?
No, I saw it. Then I saw it.
Radiant's
I
middle
didn't,
tower
so-
is under
It's just
attack.
random
That's always
hero
fun.
dying.
I mean, I hear it. I just don't see it. All right, a little bit of a lull in the action, considering there's so many heroes on the deck. I'm just going to have a quick look back at something in that fight.
What are we looking at? What are we looking for?
Just give me a moment.
Yep. At least what was impressive for Vici is that the global silence was pretty much heavily kited by that overgrowth. They were unable to do any work through that long duration silence, and they just traded ulti for ulti, and these team fights continuing to go back and forth is giving a lot of time for Ori and Puyoyo to ramp up these next set of items.
Now, I don't think it was intentional because it was so like picture perfect that it couldn't have possibly been. But the global silence came out immediately after the Haunt was used. So Spectre wasn't actually able to join in with the reality into that team fight. So things could have gone better for Vici Gaming, but it was like, it was legit split second. I was like,
Oh, they found the
I'm
Legion.
sure the Spectre just used it.
Baku, does he have the Finger of Death? He does. So the burst is there to bring down Old 11. But what's the price now? Ori, he's used it all his mana. Can Ulu get the kill before he TPs out? He can. Ulu, another big one to pick up beyond Godlike on your Bloodseeker. And now he's going to try and chase down for a secondary kill. Why not? This Bloodseeker's on a rampage, going from hero to hero.
Level 20 at the 24-minute mark of the game. You're feeling pretty damn happy if you're a Bloodseeker in this scenario. And he's nearly finished up that Manta style as well. So it means that, you know, even if they do opt to use an Ancient Steel onto you quite early into the team fight, you've still got the BKB and the Manta style to use to break out of the overgrowth. So might mean that Ulu actually starts the team fight a little bit more with his team because, you know, like we've been saying, it feels like he's been the cleanup crew a fair amount of the time. As the career's already right there to deliver the Manta style through to him. With the Aegis as well. This is scary. They know where they are though if they were looking in the mid lane.
PYW. He's got Puyoyo nearby if they can find the Spectre.
Radiant are scanning.
That's an incredibly valuable target to bring down, but at least they'll kill the Sky before he gets that TP out. So, a smoke for a pick off.
They're hunting.
Oh,
Baku
who have
and
they
Ulu.
found? They found the Legion again. Baku. Oh, they've been on point so far with the targets. They've been able to catch up Yo-Yo. Whew, that was a still nonetheless. I mean, that's Horn on cooldown now.
Mm-hmm. Baku's positioning, his engagements,
Dire's
all
middle
been on
tower
point.
is under
And
attack.
as he finished up,
Dire's structures
he was
are
going to go into the
fortified.
Agshar, but I think he's changed up. He's
Radiant
tired of being
structures
chased
are
down
fortified.
by this Spectre. Just wants that Aeon Disc for the survivability. Not just for him, but also if he gets Blink Jeweled or anything along those lines. Just to be able to break out of that and have a little bit more safety. Nullifier is nowhere near being able to be picked up for any of these Vici gaming heroes.
Yeah, that's kind of like a 5th item thing for the Spectre,
Radiant's
potentially.
bottom tower is under attack.
They're just hunting together again. Ori sitting down on the bottom side. They finally do run into it. He doesn't know that they can't see him, but Siamese Cat is walking
He
underneath.
wants to
He's
kill,
going
and
for
then
the
he's going to
kill.
get out Baku. Can he just get in range? So he should tick on the silence into the
Close.
Orchid,
More from me.
and he will just make it out. Man, Baku was...
I'm having a look at the player perspective on that.
That was...
Felt like Baku could have got it.
Like, that's the question. Like, is that worth the players, Mars? Catches up the Sky. He's only got Poyoyo on the back up here. With Baku once again getting involved with the chain lockdown. Like, that's the question, though. Like, Ori, going for that kill, you get it. But, man, that was milliseconds away from giving up your life. And is the reward worth the risk there?
As a support player, I say no.
Radiant's
As a
bottom
carry
tower
player, I'm
is
sure
under
he's like,
attack.
haha,
Poyoyo?
kill. Poyoyo, he's getting gone on.
Spear, beautiful pushback towards the rest of Reina that can follow up now with the percent damage instantly. Utilizing this
Sure, it's
fresh
not gonna
man
do
to
much.
pick up from Ulo, so the overgrowth not holding him back at all, but they have evaded the tree protector, so Storm enabling to jump to Mars with the global silence after the BKB was popped, so this magic immunity giving Storm nothing as the escape mechanic, and Phoenix can offer that chain control afterwards.
This is looking like a real good position for Aster.Aries to be in. 27 minutes, DD on your Bloodseeker, who's 14, 0, and 4, whacking down at those tier 2 towers, which normally you'd have a lot more difficulty with. You don't even need to use the Leshrac to hit it. Probably could. I mean, you're against a Tree Protector. It's going to take a while unless the Edict's used. There we go. Still able to rip through those towers fairly effectively.
Money changes hands.
Dire's middle tower
Old
has
11?
fallen.
Not again, sir. Please TP out. They're coming. They saw you previously with that ward. They might sniff you. Baku's senses are tingling. No,
Oh.
no.
So since
No.
the...
Radiant's top
Oh,
tower is under
no.
attack.
Wait, there's no chance he...
Dire's
Come on.
middle tower is under
Come
attack.
on, just to the right. Just down a little bit.
Dude. He's still hunting him. Nah.
Radiant's top
Wait.
tower is
Oh,
under
the
attack.
Korea...
He would have...
He was there.
Oh
was
my
there.
god. What? Okay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, again...
So, since 7.30, what I was saying before
Yeah.
we saw that epic game of hide and seek, the change to the Diabolic Edict, right?
Radiant's top
Less
tower
overall
is under
damage now,
attack.
and doesn't do the extra
Dire's
40% to
bottom
towers,
tower has
but it's now
fallen.
pure damage. So, the fact that you've got this Tree and Protector,
Dire's bottom
it's not
tower
actually
is under
saving
attack.
that much. Like, sure, it's healing the towers, but that bonus 8 armor, not
Radiant's
effective
top
at
tower
all
is
at
under
negating that
attack.
pure damage coming through. So, Leshrac is still a pretty damn good answer for the Tree and Protector. Will they be able to get their second tier 1 tower of the game? That's how dire straits it feels like it is for Vici
Radiant
Gaming right
are
now.
scanning.
Still, Dota Plus giving him a 20% or so chance. It's a Spectre after all.
Ori's
Standing
trying
in
to
these trees.
set up for some pickoffs.
Over here now.
Walking in, instant reaction to get on out.
But so close. Like, you are playing with fire right now. And I mean, you're delaying the game. That feels like that is really the main thing. Because I think Vici have to have an immense amount of confidence in themselves to execute late game, even if they're slightly behind. And like, not even just take heroes aside. Like, if you're looking at solely plays, Vici would have to believe in their experience to be able to come in clutch in late game.
Man, how are you going to kill Ulu? He is 150 gold away from a Satanic on top of everything that he's got. And then eventually he's going to build into that Silver Edge that I've been pining for. But BKB plus the Manta style plus a Satanic, that's 3 different ways to dispel yourself, not even taking into account the lifesteal component, of course, which is buffed up by his Paladin Sword. It's just going to go from tough to tougher, and you're going to need to catch him in a duel, and you're going to need to burst him 100 to 0, but the amount of turnaround potential that you've got to prevent that is still looking pretty strong.
That is at least the nice thing about Vici Gaming, is that they don't have to worry about any real save from the side of Radiant. Like, it's not like you have to keep in mind about like a living arm or a press the attack. So maybe that duel into Mystic Flare or Storm into, you know, Vortex into Mystic Flare, that could give you a numbers advantage, which could be incredibly key through a team fight here, like maybe getting rid of the Silencer before Global Silence, or getting rid of the Lion, because Baku has been one of the key components for them to have this net worth lead that they have.
This game in particular as well, even Siamese Cat's spellcasting has been pretty good, being able to get off the Glimmer Cape onto the Mystic Flare target multiple times now, just forcing a little bit of an extra commitment coming through from Vici Gaming. So we'll see what his positioning is going to be like. Of course, not wanting to stand on the front lines a lot of the time, so the fact that he doesn't have a movement item is going to hurt him a little bit. They're hunting. If they can find the Spectre, that would be amazing.
Touche.
Stop, Baku's got him! Is there extra follow control after the first use of the Earth Split? There should be from Phoenix. They've answered it with a flurry of stuns, locking in Ori's Storm, and they're instantly going to look to TP up top as well. DY? Yeah, why not just drop the arena? They'll catch him out. I mean, it should still fall nonetheless. As Phoenix, again, I mean, here are the stuns really coming into play. And they see the rest of Dire coming outside the base, so they're aware of this. Oh, I say that, BKB, just before the duel, so there's no answer in the Mystic Flare. And now with the rest of Aster.Aries, the TPs are starting to come through from Ulu. They're also cutting off the retreat path, so Sky and Old 11 are kind of forced to retreat up through the lane, as unfortunately PYW, they'll cancel the TP with the Earth Spike, but the more important target is Old 11. Rupture, bonus damage set up from the spear. And this
get him anyway.
Is continuing to get grim. Well, Aster now should be able to take some towers, as we see they can head up higher ground. I mean, there's no buybacks available on Vici.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
At least they've got the
Dire's
living armor
structures are fortified.
and the glyph as well, so we'll delay it for as long as possible. I mean, they don't have too much time on Aster, but with how fast they can push on the Edict, the only issue is against the Train Protector. You kind of need to bring down objective from 4 to 0 if it's that deep. Ori, though, is looking like he's almost got this Sunjin Kai completed. And I wonder if it might get to the stage of even an Agadam's next potentially as well. At least his Sunjin Kai will give him a lot more survivability. The status resistance is going to be great as well versus the chain control that we've seen so consistently from Aster.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh
attack.
man. Alright, I'm trying to think. Time to put my thinking cap on. How do you come back into this game if you're Vici Gaming? Any big items coming up shortly? Not really. BKB, I suppose, on the
Radiant are
Legion
scanning.
Commander, which is going to be nice. You know, you're going to have that
Radiant's
little bit of
bottom
extra
tower is under attack.
survivability, which honestly, like, it doesn't feel like they've been focusing Old 11 that hard. It feels like he's been like a secondary
Radiant's
target after
middle
they've been able to
tower is
pick
under
off the
attack.
Skywrath or the Storm Spirit. So this Blade Mail really isn't doing much of anything. And so that's really why I was wanting him to go second item BKB,
Radiant's bottom
so you would
tower
have that
is under
save for the rest of
attack.
your team.
Dire's top tower
He's
is
getting
under
close to it
attack.
though. 300 gold away.
It does really feel like he's... I mean, he's got 80 damage, but it really feels like he is that W bot. Like, it's...
Dire's
With
top
8
tower
deaths,
has
lowest
fallen.
net worth out of the cause.
Radiant's bottom tower
And
is
unfortunately for
under
him, he
attack.
hasn't been able to scale like the Mars has so far.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's
But
bottom
Vici
tower is under
looking for a
attack.
smoke as soon as the BKB is picked up. Mars, incredible positioning from him. He's actually going to go in. Has the BKB off the silence with the arena. Only blocking in the sky and the Legion at the moment, but that's enough to get the kill. Now with the duel out, but again, the quick fingers on the BKB before the duel damage. And now they've killed off the Legion. The buybacks have to come into fray to try and protect the Spectre, but Poyoyo is down and dusted. It's going to buyback, going to rejoin the fight instantly with the Haunt. Now with the zip on the backline as well. Radiant, they've wasted everything on the first lives, and now they're going to be cautious. This is Ulu with the BKB on cooldown. They can try and target him from 4 to 0, but Baku, maybe the saving grace, it's not enough. Bloodseeker still will fall, but the heavy commitment. He's going to look to buy back and rejoin the fight. It's ready. They still have the tier 1 tower. Poyoyo, he just bought back. Poyoyo's in trouble and he's got no assistance. Spectre's down. He just bought back. DY's going to fall as well.
Importantly, it is the Iron Roche. It's going to be respawning in about 10 seconds. They're not going to see it just yet, but they might look to park someone close to there because the Treant Protector being on the sidelines as well means that you've still got a solid amount of potential for being able to defend, not have to defend these towers. You're going to use the buyback. Maybe you can get a pick off here with the duel, with the Mystic Flare onto the likes of this Bloodseeker, but as soon as the buyback comes out, they're just going to check Roche again. Why wouldn't you?
Aster just been getting...
Have a quick look at the buyback status.
Yeah, no one's got
just
buyback.
No's across the board. Only Storm Spirit's remotely close.
How many is on cooldown? Silencer's not, Storm's not. That's it. So 2 heroes and Legion, sorry. 3 that's not. Wow. I cannot believe how consistent Aster.Aries have been getting their BKBs before the duel. It feels like the past 4-5 key duels through the team fights have been instantly answered with a BKB beforehand, and you are all reliant on that burst through the Mystic Flare. And if you don't get that, like maybe you waste a BKB at the start of the fight, but Dire are all relying on this instant burst to then have the numbers and reset after that kill advantage.
And even now, as they're sieging up onto the high ground, they've got the Leshrac with the Aghanim Shard, so he's just could, if he wanted to, lay down the Split Earth underneath the Bloodseeker so that he's just got so much more survivability, and that's exactly what he's opting to do.
Oz?
McCabe eventually gets popped onto him a little late, again highlighting the lack of movement spells that Silencer has right now, but for everything that he's lacking in movement, he's got in a lot of other things to provide him net worth, only 150 gold away from a Refresher Orb on our Silencer.
The amount of farm that Siamese Cat has been able to find this game. I mean, 3, 4, and 16. We've seen these Silencer creeping up in priority through the group stages so far, and now with the opportunity for a double global silence could just cause so much chaos for Vici Gaming. Even have the 20 talent on Baku, the mana drain restores allies. That's, you love to see it for the Leshrac.
Not sure how that works with the Aghanim Shard, if it also just... So it causes mana drain to affect up to 3 enemies. So does that mean you can use it on a teammate and 3 enemies, as opposed to just forking it in 3 directions?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was just gonna say, you do get BKB Mars. Again, look at their positioning around the wards. Like, Radiant, when they're ahead, look really good. They know exactly how to play when they have an advantage, always around the vision.
And they've got the Silver Edge now as well on the Bloodseeker.
It's a big, big item. They haven't really shown too much difficulty killing off Poyoyo Spectre with 5 deaths on the position 1, and you know, now we might even add another one to the tally before they look to end this game. The issue is that
it's a slow push.
sieging high ground. Yeah, it's a big issue. Once again, they really want to force out the BKB. They will be able to do so. Arena dropped as well.
They got it back.
And DY's not going to give them the opportunity. Aeon Disc pop, Spectre. He's got to try and kill the backline, but the Haunt used without any extra follow-up to stop them from resetting outside the base. And Old 11 sidestep the Earth Spike, but now the Rupture's not going to give him the opportunity. Yours is out. Storm can get the BKB off of the sun. He's going to be able to. Now when Ori is in trouble, though, the Global Silence is getting ripped apart.
He's got buyback.
Ori will fall. He's got a buyback, but that is a big kill and a potential big buyback to force out as well.
Yeah, but I feel like you're still needing to play a little bit more passively right now if you're Aster.Aries. You don't have any buybacks of your own. They don't know the Storm Spirit has the buyback. Excuse me, but no arena, low-ish mana on your Leshrac, no Lion, no Global Silence. So I feel like you have to at least wait minimum until you've got that last 10 seconds or so where you can take the team fight with the Global.
Phoenix?
So
Autolivan's
careful.
hunting. Instant BKB ready. They have
the
the
duel.
outburst control if they can come over. Legion's taking an immense amount of damage, and Radiant, they're finally showing up to the
Never mind.
party. As Phoenix just stands his ground. So much sustain. DY? Ooh.
Yeah, he got his spells off before he was able to get the duel. So not only do you have the Diabolic Edict and the Pulse Nova going throughout all of that, but hell, even the Stormcraft are dishing out 200 damage throughout all of that, and then of course the Eternal Shroud just providing that extra spell lifesteal.
Mars.
Radiant's
Don't
top
touch anyone
tower
again.
is under attack. Dire's middle
Space
tower is
created.
Sure,
Maybe.
let's go with that.
Yeah, how long has he got ages? 30 seconds. Ulu looking to tick this one out. Again, you see the siege, not the strongest at the moment. They'll drag back
Spear
into
on
the
the
split
Spectre.
earth. Oh, it's not there, but at least they got the blood right. They got the damage. Oh, what a play from the Mars again. I mean, he's been missing some of the past previous arenas, but his spears at replacing Vici Gaming has been spectacular this game.
Yeah, no one misses 50 spears in
They're
a
going to
row.
make one last ditch attempt out of it, but the Global Silence potentially disrupting that as Ulu, he'll back up to full. The Satanic is too much for them to handle. He might even dive the Fountain as well. Kills off the Sky. Two heroes don't have buybacks. T4s are falling, and they have to call it quits as Aster.Aries will topple Vici Gaming and take their first series victory of the group stages.
And you can tell how much that means to them. Putting out the awoos there on Ulu with his 24, 1, and 4. I was thinking, man, why are they going for this Bloodseeker? Why not go for something like a Slark? He's going to be able to do absolute work in this game, but he proved me wrong. Sometimes those niche little picks and picking up that early-ish Ag Shard, cleaning up, mopping up, whatever you want to call it, he was just supreme in that game.
24, 1, and 4 on Ulu. What a performance from your position one. What a performance from Aster.Aries, though. Again, not just the individual play. I mean, you were highlighting consistently about Lion and how impactful he was through, the early to mid game on these chain lockdowns and just starting the fights. I mean, Mars as well was getting some real clutch pickoffs with the Leshrac, and it does look like when Aster.Aries have a lead, they know exactly what to do. It's the state of when they start to fall behind that they don't have maybe as much of that vocal voice to bring them back in games. But when they have a lead like this, you see how strong they can look.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean that brings them right back to the pack, right? It's a pretty significant loss for Vici Gaming. Might put their upper bracket hopes in tatters. You would have to say that they're not going to drop down, you would think, into the elimination stages. But now Aster.Aries find themselves actually slightly ahead of Magma, considering they've played one fewer series than them. So putting themselves in a really good spot to, I'm not sure how tiebreakers work, if it just goes off head to head or if they'll play a tiebreaker matchup after that. But at least giving themselves a fighting chance now to claim one of those top 6 spots.
I mean, that is only our second series done for the day as well. We still have one more, and what an incredible series it's going to be. We've got now the bigger brothers, Team Aster, which we saw earlier in the day, 2-0 Magma. They're looking for their last group victory here. They've already played 5 games. They are 5-0 and looking to go flawless with a 6-0 series count, but they're going to have to go up against the RNG Titans, which themselves are currently 2-1 in 3rd position of the standing. So, I mean, the stage is set to more Chinese Titans. We'll be battling it out in our last series of the night. We'll see you guys soon for the 3rd series.